Sometimes when you hear people talk, you know that they have no idea when they mention terms like audio marketing, audio advertising. Some people even confuse those two terms, even though those two terms are correlated, but they're not the same. So in today's conversation, I really want to explain to you audio marketing, audio advertising, what's the intersection of those two, and how to really boost your ROI with the audio marketing overall and advertising also. And I want to touch a little bit also on programmatic audio advertising. So here is the overview I really want you to pay attention to. So audio marketing, right off the bat, means that it is a tool, it is a process by which brands are able to extend campaign messaging beyond the screen. So audio marketing includes a broad spectrum of content, including jingles, scores, and branded content. It also includes audio ads. So audio advertising can be an important part of content marketing, and by integrating ads into audio experiences such as ad-supported music streaming or podcast, advertisers can help customers discover products and services that are relevant to them. So you can see here that audio advertising is part of audio marketing. So you have the larger umbrella of audio marketing that encompasses audio advertising. So audio marketing is really important because a lot of right now the industry is shifting. Like consumer preferences are shifting from video to audio because the audio is less disruptive than video, among other things. And when people are listening to audio, they're fully immersed. When somebody's listening to a podcast while working out or going to work, that person is really immersed. By the way, boss, welcome back to the show. I really appreciate having you here and having a quick convo with you about audio marketing and audio advertising. And when we talk about digital audio advertising or digital audio marketing, you have a constellation of benefits. You have a low APR. You are able to integrate your audio seamlessly. You are able to actually have to reach a larger portion of the populace. Like in the States, for example, 41 to 60% of U.S. households, they actually are on audio, some kind of platforms. It can be Spotify, Pandora, or what have you. So this is great. This is really great. So bottom line here is that audio advertising has a wide reach. And even more than video, for example, because, hey, listen, you can be listening to a podcast and nobody knows what you're listening to. But if you're watching a video, people can peek into your screen and see what you're watching. And another reason why we believe that audio advertising and audio marketing in general are really sort of getting momentum nowadays is because audio consumers are paying attention. Okay, and the whole thing here is that when we talk about audio consumers, I'm speaking about consumers on a constellation of platforms. I'm speaking about Amazon Alexa. I'm speaking about Pandora. I'm speaking about Spotify. I'm speaking about all the tools and the processes that are coming on the market right now from Google, from Yahoo, and from Microsoft. So this is really important. And one thing I want to say here is that people really believe and people love the audio ad experience because they believe it is synchrone. It is symbiotic to the whole experience, which is something you don't see a lot when you think about video ads, which are thought of being more disruptive. Like you're watching your favorite show, right? And all of a sudden you have a video ad that really pops up. You could be really pissed. But if you are just listening to, let's say you listen to your favorite podcast, your business podcast, or listen to this podcast, for example, and you have an ad that really meshes, that blends into the content itself, then that's fine. And especially if the ad is like 30 seconds long, that's fine because you're listening, you're not watching. And also the things a lot of folks right now, and this is something that we have been seeing in the last 25 years, the last 20 years to be more precise, you are seeing now screenless moments that are really increasing at home. So people are just home, they're just chilling, and they don't want to watch TV anymore. They just want to listen to stuff. So they can have a Pandora box on or Spotify on and just chilling. You can probably just sipping some nice glass of wine and just having a good time, but you have a sound in the background. So those are really important things. By the way, boss, I want to quickly remind you of today's topic. We're having a conversation about audio marketing and audio advertising, how those two intersect to actually boost your ROI and how you can actually use them effectively. And audio advertising can be really interactive too. Customers could have the opportunity to interact directly with audio advertising. So smart speakers nowadays can allow customers to make hands-free purchases, for example. Or podcast can have clickable companion banner ads and apps. So by reaching audiences in different contexts, audio ads can help to effectively engage audiences in new ways. And the bottom line here is, if you're a publisher, you can make more money, more revenue. Now, let me give you the steps you need to really adopt right now if you are trying to create an important, let's say, an effective audio advertising strategy that gives important results, that target important goals. Now, the thing is, there are several factors to be aware of when creating audio for your content marketing strategy. And the thing is, customers use a variety of channels, so brands should be aware of what would work best for their audio ad campaigns to share the messaging in the right places at the right time. Remember, when we talk about audio advertising in general or audio marketing, we have the duality that we call, actually, it's not the duality, it's actually the trifecta. So you have demographics, you have geography, and then you have firmographics. So firmographics really applies to a B2B sort of model. But if you don't have a B2B model, just stick to the duality of geography and demographic. So this is really important to keep that in mind, okay? Because the bottom line here is you want to deliver the right ad at the right place at the right time so that you can have an ad that is relevant to the listener. And finally, measuring the results of the audio campaigns will help determine success in the long run. Because the whole thing is, you're not just running an ad campaign, let's say an audio ad campaign today. You are trying to monitor the progress, or let's say the trends over time, so you can see if cyclicality plays a role, seasonality plays a role, or there are other factors such as external factors or internal factors that really impact the effectiveness of the ad. So if you want to create an audio advertising strategy that is potent, that is powerful, you want to decide on a channel, okay, and you want to know your audiences, and you want to consider the results. So decide on a channel. This can be Spotify, it can be Pandora, it can be iHeartRadio, it can be YouTube, it can be anything. And you want to know your audience, okay? You want to think about the ideal audience for the ads in your content marketing strategy. Consider what customers are looking for and what topics may be most interesting to them. And the cool thing is, there's a broad spectrum of audio content, including jingles, scores, and branded content that could help brands determine the messaging and creative for their audio ads. And after that, consider the results. Because remember, audio is primarily a brand building tool for advertisers. That said, there are certain performance analytics metrics that could be useful to you. So measurements of reach, for example, frequency, and audio completion rate are a good place to start, and as are brand reach and lift for considering how audio can actually improve your brand presence. So this has to be something constant, though. This is not a one-time thing. And the thing is, I want to give you let me do a review here. And I want to talk about audio advertising customer examples, okay? It's really important to understand that when we talk about audio ads, you have to think about a tool that helps brands reach new audiences. And you have to constantly keep adding new audiences, because this is how you extend or you expand your market. Don't actually be bogged down into into a hole here. No, not at all. You want to really expand and you want to go granular. And the cool thing here is that you have a lot of folks who are actually connected right now. There was actually a recent Amazon Ads and Ipsos survey that found that several examples of Amazon connected audio consumers who could be reached by a lot of audio ads. So right now you have a younger and more affluent audience. So Amazon connected audio consumers are typically younger adults, most commonly aged 35 to 44. And that skews slightly younger than the generational population. The general population, by the way, potentially allowing brands to share their ads with new generations of users. And what we have seen in our own research is that, you see a lot of shift in patterns, shift in behavioral patterns. And this is kind of cool. And the Amazon audio ads audience is slightly more affluent than the general population, and has a higher spending power 29% of them reported making a online purchase, like an online purchase every single day. Think about it. Every single day they're buying stuff online. By the way, boss, I want to quickly remind you of today's topic. We're having a conversation about audio marketing, audio advertising, how the two intersect, how to actually use them appropriately for your brand to actually boost ROI, to boost revenue, to boost engagement, to actually connect more with listeners. And you need to understand that customers who are music lovers will actually flock naturally towards sound and towards audio advertising, and that makes sense, right? Because you have a different category of customers. Some customers are more like content lovers, audio lovers, music lovers, jingle lovers. This is kind of cool. And music streaming is the primary interaction on smart speakers, and the category of music can make a difference too. Country music is the most played genre in the US on Amazon Music's ad-supported tier, and those listeners over-index compared to the general US population in purchasing groceries online or on an app. And they have a higher interest in smart home devices. Also, country music is followed by pop music, where listeners are more likely to stream TV and movies online, and rock music, where listeners are more likely to go online or use apps for banking and investment purposes. So you can see there that you can see the I would say the trifecta, but also the correlation and connection. So this is really important to think about that. Let me give you the decision I want you to really pay attention to right now. So when we talk about audio advertising, it's really important to understand that it's been audio advertising is not like didn't start yesterday. Audio advertising has been going on for about a century now, and because everything started in about 1922 in New York, okay, when actually a radio station in the city, WEAF, aired the first radio ad, a whopping 15 minutes commercial for new apartments in Jackson Heights, Queens. And 100 years later, audio advertising is one of the most powerful marketing channels available. And with today's abundance of streaming platforms, mobile devices, and content formats, people can listen to any type of audio they want, where and when they want it. And the cool thing is advertisers can reach them directly with the powerful, ear-grabbing messages. And the cool thing here is that the reason why I'm saying this is because you are seeing a new shift in behavioral patterns, as I was talking about earlier. You are seeing a new entrance in the industry, and you're seeing changes in the dynamics. It's really important to understand that Spotify is not the only one. A lot of folks think about Spotify in terms of the biggie in the industry. Yes, they are the biggie, but you have a lot of small players who collectively can also play an important role in the industry. I'm speaking about the iHeartRadio of the world, even all the podcast aggregation platforms. I'm speaking about Pandora also. And the thing is, you want to really pay attention to what really matters here, because digital audio is here to stay. Digital audio, like folks are telling you, yeah, digital audio is going to be a fad. No, because now we are seeing a new entrance in terms of new processes entering the industry. For example, you have AI-driven digital audio. So you are able to actually have a constellation, a broader constellation of digital audio types. This is very important. And one thing I want to say here is that you have the ability to really see what really works for you. Okay. And the element of surprise can be very great also in terms of seeing exactly what matters. And one thing I want to say here is that you are able to stream things. You are able to connect with your audience at a very deep level to understand what really matters. And one thing I want to say here is that when we talk about digital audio in general, you have the ability to add the element of emotion, surprise, connection, and also talking to the listener at a very deep level. And remember, when we speak about digital audio, we're speaking about downloaded audios like songs, albums, and podcasts. You have live streaming audio like broadcasts from radio stations and live talk on platforms like Spotify, Green Room. You have on-demand audio like music, podcast, talk shows, radio, audio clips, and voiceovers. So the constellation of opportunities, the constellation of options is there. I want to talk to you now, but I want to give you the approach that you really need to pay attention to here. And it's really important to understand that when you talk about audio advertising, you also need to think about digital audio advertising. This is correlated, and it's not really the same. And the thing is that digital audio advertising is the process of inserting ads into digital audio content in order to reach customers or listeners. And this allows advertisers to connect with audiences while they are already enjoying the content they love in the first place. And this could be music, podcast, or digital radio shows. And the cool thing here is that you have to really pay attention to what really matters to those listeners in the first place. And let me give you an example. Spotify, for example, offers two main types of ads. So here you have like audio ads, for example. So those are like 30 seconds, and they will actually play between songs. And then you have podcast ads. So those ads are usually between 30 and 60 seconds. And they typically play during podcast and may be read by the host or a voiceover actor. And it's all about what really resonates with your target audience. And the bottom line here is you need to really pay attention to what resonates based on their geography, but also based on the demographics. And what I want to say here is that the reason why we have seen in the last, let's say, in the last 7 years, we have seen a lot of effectiveness in terms of digital audio is because online audio advertising opens up a whole new world of audience outreach for brands, providing valuable opportunities to drive engagement and revenue. And people also turn to digital audio content to avoid screen fatigue, right? Because with podcast ads, for example, advertisers can reach listeners during the screenless moments they crave and cherish. Remember that nowadays we're seeing a movement where people just want to chill at home. I just spoke about that earlier. People just want to have some kind of screenless time where they can just chill and enjoy. And this is where you have in the background, you have some kind of audio, some kind of music, because it will be too creepy and too weird to have some kind of silence or cemetery silence and be in the house and there's no noise, there's no sound. So to have something in the music, something in the background, to have some kind of a very soothing music is really cool. And this is the kind of a strategy that I think you should have also in terms of embedding audio marketing and audio advertising in your strategy so that in the end you are making money. And here is a winner for you. Let me just share a winner for you. The thing is that you are able to test digital audio for small business advertising and more. The thing is, you don't need, and contrary to popular belief, you don't need a massive budget or a flashy recording of equipment to get into audio advertising or join Spotify's podcast advertising network. No, not at all. It depends on your strategy, though. It depends on the sort of a niche you want to reach. You can use a self-serve ad manager like Spotify Ad Studio, for example, to build your campaigns and tap into Spotify's audience of 406 million, actually it's 425 million active users based on our research, including the 236 ad-supported monthly active users. And this is kind of cool. And the cool thing here is that you are able to reach them programmatically. So you don't have to do things manually, or you don't have to do things, let's say, on a case-by-case basis. No, you do it programmatically. So you're having programmatic audio marketing and programmatic audio advertising, so you can reach those audiences when you want them and when they need to hear from you, when they need to hear the type of a message that your brand is conveying at that particular time. Remember, when we speak about testing digital audio for small business advertising, you are able to scale. Like right now, you can start with, let's say, a budget of $200 or $100. And if revenue sort of keeps increasing because you're making sales that are driven by the ad, you can increase. And the fact that it doesn't require additional work is kind of cool, because any platform, whether it is a Pandora, whether it is a YouTube, whether it is a Spotify, whether it is iHeartRadio, those platforms are built to actually scale real quick and to scale automatically. This is the beauty of the platforms. And one thing I want to say before closing today's conversation is that we are seeing a shift. We're seeing a shift in terms of what people are listening to and who is listening. People are definitely listening. Over half of Americans aged 12 to 34 listen to podcasts. Think about it. 12 years old A 12-year-old is listening to a podcast. A 15-year-old is listening to a podcast. So advertisers, as an advertiser or as a publisher or whatever your role is, you can reach listeners with messaging that matches the content, tone, and mood of what they have already engaged with. Okay, so podcast ads drive results. More than 80% of listeners have taken action after hearing a podcast ad. So the stats are in, the revenue is flowing in. So just make sure that you adapt your strategy to the type of audio marketing and audio advertising that resonates with your audience. Thank you so much for your attention. I really appreciate it. In today's conversation, I was just talking to you about audio marketing and audio advertising, and I'll give you the overview, the steps, the review, the decision, the approach, and the winner. Thank you. God bless you. I'll see you next time. But until then, remember, stay marvelous.